Hey everyone, and welcome. Look, we all know going through a divorce is incredibly tough. And on top of all the emotional stress, you have to figure out the finances. A huge piece of that puzzle is often the family home, and getting a fair, unbiased value for it is absolutely essential. So today, we're going to break down exactly what a divorce appraisal costs right here in Gainesville, Florida, and what you're actually paying for. Let's just jump right into the big question I know you have.
So, what's the number? This is what everyone wants to know right off the bat, so we're not going to make you wait. You need to budget, you need to plan, so let's get straight to it.
All right, here's your starting number, $650. Now, this isn't just a number we pulled out of thin air. This is the baseline fee for a standard single-family home according to the official VA fee schedule for Florida, which includes Alachua County. Just think of this as the floor, the starting point for a professional, legally sound report.
Okay, but while $650 is the official starting line, let's be real. For most folks in Gainesville, the actual price is probably going to land somewhere in this range, between $650 and $900, and sometimes even a bit more. The big question, of course, is why? What makes your situation land on the higher end of that scale?
To figure that out, we first have to understand where that baseline number even comes from. It's not random, I promise. It's based on a widely accepted industry standard, so let's take a quick look at what that is.
Right, so you see VA fee schedule, and you might think, well, that's just for veterans or VA loans, right? But that's not the whole story. Because this is a federally regulated and really transparent system, a ton of appraisers across the industry use it as a benchmark. It's seen as a fair and objective guide for what a standard appraisal should cost in terms of time and work.
In this table, we'll show you exactly how that baseline changes depending on the property. You can see a regular single-family home or a condo that starts at the $650 mark. But look what happens with a manufactured home. It jumps to $725. Or a duplex or a fourplex, $800. And why is that? Well, it's pretty simple. More complexity means more research, more analysis, and more time for the appraiser.
Okay, so we've got our baseline. We know where it comes from. Now for the million-dollar question. What are the things that are going to push your quote up from that $650 floor toward that $900 plus territory? Let's dive into the specifics.
First off, the house itself. Is it a massive, totally custom home? Did you put in a really unique, one-of-a-kind kitchen renovation? Or maybe you live way out in a rural spot where finding comparable sales is like trying to find a needle in a haystack. Each of these things adds another layer of work, another layer of analysis, and that naturally bumps up the fee.
Now, beyond the physical property, the legal situation is a huge factor. For instance, do you need to know what the house was worth 2 years ago on the date you separated? That's called a retrospective value, and it's a whole separate research project. And what if the appraiser might have to show up in court or give a deposition? Well, they have to account for that time. And of course, the classic, if you need the report like yesterday for a court deadline, you can pretty much expect a rush fee.
This slide just lays it all out so perfectly. On the left, you've got your standard, straightforward case. A normal house, a current value, no big legal drama expected. That's going to be your baseline cost. But then look at the right. Multiple value dates, a unique property, you need it in a hurry, and there might be court involved. That's a complex appraisal. Just take a second and think about which column your situation falls into. That's going to be your best clue for what to expect, cost-wise.
So, now that you're armed with all this info, how do you actually go out and hire an appraiser and make sure you're getting a fair price for a quality job? It's not just about finding the cheapest person out there. Let's walk through a simple, smart way to do it.
Okay, here's your 5-step playbook. Number 1, be super clear. Tell them you need a divorce appraisal, not one for a mortgage. They're different. 2, give them all the details right from the start. Tell them about the house, any funky renovations, the legal stuff, the attorneys involved. The more they know, the more accurate your quote will be. 3, always get a flat fee quote in writing. No surprises. 4, ask about the timeline. A standard turnaround is usually about a week. And 5, and this one is so important, don't just look at the price. An appraiser with courtroom experience might cost a little more, but believe me, that expertise can be priceless if things get messy.
We've thrown a lot of numbers and factors at you, but if you walk away with just one single idea from all of this, I really hope it's this next point. It's all about understanding the difference between price and value. Let that sink in for a second. Think about it. A cheap appraisal that's rushed or poorly researched can get torn apart by the other side's attorney. And what does that lead to? More fighting, more legal fees, more time and stress. A solid, well-defended report is an investment. It's an investment in a smoother, faster, and, in the end, a much less expensive resolution.
So I'll just leave you with this question to chew on.
When you're dealing with what is likely the biggest financial asset in your life at one of the most critical moments, is the goal really to find the lowest price? Or is it to find the best, most reliable value to protect your financial future? We really hope this gives you the clarity you need to move forward with confidence. Thanks for watching.